The war between humans and the Viralan Empire had gone on for many years. Both sides had lost many lives. On the edge of the war zone, far away from the front lines, there was a small field hospital. It was a neutral zone. No fighting was allowed. There, only the wounded came. Both humans and aliens were treated inside. Dr. Caleb Morgan was a young human medic working there. He was tall, had kind eyes, and always kept a calm voice. He didn't carry a weapon. He carried hope. One rainy evening, just before nightfall, something strange happened. The hospital gates opened slowly. 2 guards stepped forward, their hands on their belts, but they didn't raise their weapons. An alien figure walked through the gate. It was a Viralan female, tall, with greenish-blue skin and long silver hair tied behind her head. Her 4 arms were holding a small body wrapped in a soft blanket. Her face was filled with pain, worry, and something deeper: fear. Caleb saw her from a distance and quickly rushed over. The alien mother's voice shook. "Please, someone, help her." She carefully placed the body on a stretcher. The young, alien girl in the blanket didn't move. Her eyes were open, but she didn't blink. Her arms and legs were stiff. Her chest rose and fell slowly. "She is paralyzed," the mother whispered. "A blast hit our home. The others, they said she is lost inside her own body. But I saw her cry last week. I know she's still there." Caleb knelt beside the girl and checked her pulse. It was weak but steady. Her eyes were dry, her body frozen, no movement, no reaction. Yet something about her eyes told him she was awake inside. Other doctors gathered around. Some were human, some were alien. They looked worried. "This may be dangerous," one of them whispered. "If she dies in our care, the Viralans may blame us." "She should be returned to her people," another said. "We can't risk it." But Caleb looked at the mother's face, then at the girl. He spoke softly. "She stays here. I'll take responsibility." The alien mother stepped back. Her eyes widened. "You? A human?" Caleb nodded. "Yes, I won't give up on her." The mother hesitated. Her lower arms trembled. "They said humans only save their own, that you don't understand Viralan bodies." Caleb replied, "Maybe I don't know everything, but I understand something important, love, and I see it in your eyes." She stared at him for a long time. Then slowly she nodded. "Her name is Nirel, my only child. Please, bring her back." That night, Caleb and a few assistants moved Nirel to the recovery wing. Machines were set up around her. A small scanner kept track of her brain activity. Surprisingly, the machine showed signs of thought, clear brain waves, but her body didn't respond. The other staff watched in silence. Some whispered behind Caleb's back, but he ignored them. Each morning, he greeted Nirel by name. "Good morning, Nirel. I hope you slept well." He cleaned her eyes gently, brushed her hair, and played soft music from Earth. He spoke to her about stars, stories, and silly jokes. "You may not answer, but I know you're listening," he said once. Some thought he was wasting time. But Caleb believed something the others had forgotten. The soul hears even when the body fails. Days passed, then weeks. Still, Nirel didn't move. But Caleb didn't stop. One evening, Elia, Nirel's mother, returned to visit. She sat beside her daughter and watched Caleb work. Her face showed confusion, but also curiosity. "You talk to her like she's awake," she said. "She is awake," Caleb replied, "but she does not speak. She cannot move. She doesn't need to move to hear me." Elia lowered her head. "In my world, when the body fails, we sing the goodbye song, then we let go." Caleb looked at her. "In my world, we fight until the very last heartbeat." Elia didn't answer, but she didn't sing the goodbye song either. Later that night, something strange happened. Caleb was checking Narelle's eyes. He shined a light, then blinked in surprise. Her eyelid twitched. He leaned closer. "Narelle? Was that you?" Nothing. Then, another blink, small but clear. He stood up and called a nurse. They ran a test. Her brain waves had spiked. Her eyes moved slightly again. He smiled. "She's fighting," he whispered. The next day, he told Elia. The mother cried for the first time. In weeks, the hospital began to buzz with whispers. "Did you hear? The human medic made the paralyzed alien blink." Some believed. Others doubted. But one thing was clear. Narelle was not lost. Caleb increased his sessions. He introduced gentle vibrations to her limbs, played earth lullabies, brought her small gifts, flowers, lights, even a soft teddy bear from his childhood. "I know you're still in there, Narelle," he whispered every day. "And I'm not going anywhere." Soon, more aliens came to the hospital, not as patients, but as watchers. Word had spread beyond the war zone. They wanted to see the human who spoke to a silent girl and made her blink. Elia began to stay longer. She even helped Caleb clean Narelle's face, told old Varellan stories, and sang soft songs from her home planet. Caleb noticed something else. Each time Elia sang, Narelle's heart rate changed, just a little. She was responding. Then one evening, just as Caleb was leaving the room, he heard a soft sound. Tap. He turned. Narelle's finger had moved, just once, like a twitch, but this time she didn't stop. She tapped again. And again. Caleb rushed to her side. "You're still there! You're still fighting!" He called for Elia. She ran into the room and gasped. "Narelle, my daughter! You're waking up." The girl's eyes looked at her mother, and a small tear rolled down her cheek. That night, no one in the hospital slept. Everyone talked about it. The human medic had done something impossible, but deep in the stars, Varellan commanders heard about it too, and not everyone was pleased. The sun rose over the rocky hills behind the hospital. Inside, the lights stayed on all night. Nurses and doctors moved quickly through the halls, but the quiet room where Narelle lay was full of peace. Dr. Caleb Morgan sat beside her, notebook in hand. He had written down every small movement Narelle made, the finger twitch, the eyelid blink, the heartbeat changes during music. He smiled. "I told you, didn't I?" he whispered. "We're not done yet." Narelle's eyes moved again, just slightly, but enough to tell him she heard. Elia, Narelle's mother, walked in carrying a small bowl of blue fruit from her planet. She placed it on the side table and looked at her daughter. Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time they were happy ones. "She looked at me yesterday," Elia said softly. "It was just a second, but it was her. My little Narelle is still here." Caleb nodded. "Yes, but she needs more time. Her mind is strong. Now we must help her body wake up." Other doctors remained cautious. Some still whispered that this was all luck. They didn't understand Caleb's method. To them, it was not medicine. It was emotion. But Caleb believed in the human way, a mix of science, care, patience, and deep connection. He had learned it from his own experience. Years ago, his younger sister had been hit by a shuttle accident. Her spine was damaged. The doctor said she would never walk again. But Caleb refused to accept it. He stayed by her side every day, talking, trying, hoping. And after long months, she stood again. That memory pushed him forward now. Each day, Caleb used small devices to send tiny pulses through Narelle's body. Human tech called nerve stimulators. It wasn't common for alien bodies, but he adjusted the frequencies to match her biology. He combined that with gentle massage, music therapy, and even laughter. One day, he brought in a small earth animal, a kitten from the base shelter. "This is Luna," he said, placing the soft creature beside Narelle. The kitten curled up near her, purring. Narelle's heart rate increased slightly. Elia watched in amazement. "Your world uses animals to heal?" Caleb chuckled. "Sometimes. They're small, but their love is big." Narelle slowly made progress. 1 week later, she moved 3 fingers. Then her lips twitched. Almost a smile. Caleb introduced a special machine, a tablet that responded to eye movement. Narelle could now choose simple words by blinking. It took time, but one evening, she formed her first message. "Thank you." When Elia saw the screen, she broke down in tears. "My daughter speaks," she whispered, "with no voice, but with power." Caleb smiled. "She's just getting started." The news spread fast. Videos leaked across the galaxy, a human medic healing a Virellan girl with care and kindness. Soldiers, doctors, and even common citizens from both sides started talking about it. Some praised him, some doubted, others feared it. The Virellan High Command sent a warning message to the hospital. "Return the patient to Virellan space immediately. If the human treatment continues and fails, it will be considered an insult to our people." The hospital staff held a meeting. Tension filled the room. The alien doctors were worried. "We cannot risk a galactic issue." One human said, "Caleb, maybe you should step back now." Caleb stood and looked at them all. "You don't understand. Narelle isn't just a patient. She's proof. Proof that we don't need to destroy each other to win. We can save each other too. But if she dies under your care..." "She won't," Caleb said firmly. "I made a promise. I'm going to keep it." That night, Elia visited Caleb privately. "You are brave," she said, "but you are also in danger." Caleb looked tired but calm. "I've seen war, Elia. I've seen people give up too soon. I'm not one of them." She placed a hand on his. "In our culture, only family touches during healing. You have become part of our story now." In the days that followed, Narelle began to sit up with support, her body still weak but slowly gaining control. She used the eye tablet to speak more. She asked about Earth, about Caleb's family, about the kitten. Then she typed, "I want to walk again." Caleb nodded. "You will, step by step." Other patients in the hospital began to ask for his help too. Virellan soldiers came secretly, leaving their pride at the door. Some had burns, others had lost hope. Caleb treated them like humans, with care, words, and faith. The walls between enemies slowly began to melt. Outside the hospital, however, tension was rising. A Virellan ship appeared in orbit. It sent a clear order. "Transfer the girl, or we come down ourselves." Caleb met with the hospital director. "Let them come. Let them see what we're doing here." The next day, a group of Virellan officers entered the hospital, dressed in ceremonial armor. Their faces were cold. Elia stood in front of them. "She is still healing," she said. "She must be returned," the officer replied. Caleb stepped forward. "She's walking again." The officers stared. "She blinks, speaks, and moves." "You want to take her away now?" Caleb asked calmly. One officer narrowed his eyes. "If you lie, you insult us." Caleb pointed at the door. "Then come and see." Inside Narelle's room, the alien girl sat on the edge of her bed. Elia supported her gently. Caleb offered his hand. "Are you ready?" he asked. Narelle blinked. Then slowly, with shaking legs, she stood up. She took one step, then another. The room fell silent. The Virellan officers watched, stunned. Then the lead officer bowed, his head slowly. "We were told humans were destroyers. Perhaps some are also healers." That evening, Elia sat outside the room with Caleb. The stars above were bright. "You changed everything," she said. Caleb smiled. "No, Nirel did. I just helped her believe." Elia looked at him with deep respect. "You have taught me something new. In your world, healing is not just about the body." Caleb nodded. "It's about the heart, too. But deep in the galaxy, not all were happy about this new hope. Some leaders wanted the war to continue. Peace was dangerous to them, and they were watching Caleb now, closely. The stars above the neutral hospital shined brighter now. Inside the white halls, people walked with softer steps and lighter hearts. Something had changed. The news of Nirel's recovery spread far across the galaxy. It was shared in secret. Meetings, shown in war broadcasts, and whispered by soldiers in trenches. A human medic, using strange Earth methods, had helped a Virilan child stand again. People called it a miracle. But Caleb Morgan didn't believe in miracles. He believed in effort, in small progress, in patience, and in the power of never giving up. Every day, Nirel trained with Caleb and her mother. She stood for longer. She walked slowly across the room with support. Her fingers were no longer stiff. Her voice was still silent, but her eyes spoke clearly now. One morning, she tapped the message board and wrote, "Can I go outside today?" Caleb looked at Elia, who smiled. The sun will be good for her. They brought her to the hospital, a garden. It was small but full of color, earth flowers, alien trees, singing birds. The kitten Luna followed beside them. For the first time in months, Nirel felt fresh wind on her face. Other patients watched from windows. Some clapped quietly. Others cried. Even those from the Virilan side who once saw Caleb with doubt now lowered their heads with respect when he passed. The sparks of hope had become real. Later that week, the hospital received visitors. Not just doctors or wounded, but high-ranking people, ambassadors, peace observers, and independent reporters. One alien reporter asked Caleb, "How did you do what others could not?" Caleb replied with a calm smile, "I listened. I spoke. I waited. I treated her like someone who could heal, not someone broken." Elia added, "Your people heal with your hands, but also with your hearts." A special interview was broadcast across neutral channels. In it, Elia sat beside Caleb. "Speaking directly to the galaxy, I gave my daughter to a human," she said, her voice steady, "and in return, I was given back hope." The message reached far. Some alien worlds started sending requests. Could Caleb visit them? Could human healing methods be shared? Could there be peace? But not all voices were kind. In the shadows of power, leaders on both sides grew nervous. A Virellan warlord named General Thresh saw the broadcast and slammed his fist on the table. "This human weakens our image," he growled. "He makes us look small, like we need saving," his aide said softly, "but the people love him." Then make them stop. On Earth, a human politician spoke loudly in a debate. "Why are our medics helping the enemy? Let them heal their own." But many others defended Caleb. They said he was doing what soldiers couldn't, ending hate, one life at a time. In secret, a group of Virellan peace seekers sent a message to the hospital. "We support you. Do not stop." Inside the hospital, Caleb didn't focus on politics. He focused on Nirel. He brought her a special gift, a small walking frame built from both human and alien technology. Light, soft, and easy to adjust. Nirel smiled when she saw it. She typed, "My own wings." That day, she walked across the garden with no help. Slow, shaky, but free. Patients clapped, nurses cried, Elia knelt and hugged her daughter tightly. "You've become stronger than I ever dreamed," she whispered. But then came a warning. A coded message arrived through the hospital system. It had no name, just a line. They are coming for the human. Prepare. Caleb read it carefully. He showed it to Elia. She looked afraid. You are being watched, she said. Caleb nodded. Let them watch. I have nothing to hide. But he began sleeping lighter, watching the skies, making sure Narelle was always safe. One night, loud engines roared above the hospital. A dark ship hovered in silence. It didn't land. It didn't send a message. Then it vanished into the stars. Some thought it was just patrol. Others knew better. Despite the threat, more visitors came, this time from other species. A group of small-eyed healers from the Tellan race arrived. They asked Caleb to teach them. His human method, he agreed. He called it hope-centered care. He taught them how to speak kindly to patients, how to believe in slow healing, how to use music, animals, light, and memory. It wasn't science alone, it was connection. He said, even when the body gives up, the heart still listens. They took notes. They learned. They smiled. Then something new happened. Narelle began to speak. One morning, her lips moved slowly. Her voice cracked, dry and soft. Mother, she whispered. Elia froze. Say it again. Narelle blinked. Mother, she said again, louder. Elia burst into tears and hugged her tightly. Caleb stepped back, his eyes wet. He whispered to himself, You did it. After that, things moved faster. Narelle practiced speaking every day. Her voice became clear. Her steps became stronger. Her mind became brighter. She told Caleb, You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. He replied, That's what we humans do. The hospital now had a new nickname among visitors, the House of Healing. Posters were made, with Narelle's picture beside Caleb's. A new sign was placed at the entrance. Life beyond war. But not everyone was happy. One night, a stranger in a dark coat entered the hospital. He didn't speak. He placed a small black box near the power unit. Luna, the kitten, smelled danger and meowed loudly. A guard followed the sound and found the device. It was a bomb. They deactivated it in time, but the message was clear. Someone wanted to end this peace. Caleb was called into a meeting with the hospital leaders. They told him to be careful, to maybe step back, to avoid the spotlight. He shook his head. If I hide, what does that teach others? That kindness should be quiet? They had no answer. He stood. I'll keep healing until they stop me. Elia sat with him that night. Narelle had gone to sleep holding her kitten. You are more than a doctor now, she said. You are a symbol. Caleb looked up at the stars. I'm just a man doing what I know is right. She nodded. Then may your light never go out. But beyond the peaceful garden, beyond the soft lights and gentle songs, the galaxy was turning. For some, Caleb had become a hero. For others, a problem. And soon, a choice would have to be made. Let peace grow, or crush it before it spreads. The hospital was calm early that morning, but inside, tension built like a storm ready to break. Dr. Caleb Morgan sat at his small desk, staring at the complex data streaming from Narelle's monitors. His tired eyes searched for answers that had evaded him for weeks. Narelle's progress had been slow but steady. She could now walk short distances with support and speak simple words. But her legs still ached, and her body often trembled with weakness. The spinal damage was deep, deeper than Caleb first thought. Caleb had one last hope, a new, risky treatment. It was a mix of human stem cell therapy and alien nanogel technology. The stem cells could help regenerate nerve tissues, and the nanogel could protect and guide the new growth. It was experimental, untried in any species, but if it worked, it might bring Narelle back fully. Elia entered quietly. Her eyes were tired, but hopeful. Caleb, she said softly, are you sure about this? He looked up and nodded. It is risky, but doing nothing means slow pain, maybe no full healing. This is our best chance. Elia took her daughter's hand gently. Then we do this, for Nirel's future. The hospital prepared for the procedure. The room was filled with both human and alien medical equipment. Scientists from both sides worked side by side, checking every detail. Outside, the mood was tense. Virelan's soldiers watched from a distance. They had not left the neutral zone, but had made their presence clear. Caleb felt the weight of eyes on him. It was more than just a surgery. It was a symbol. Could humans and aliens work together? Could hope defeat fear? The day of the procedure arrived. Caleb led the team. The machines hummed. Lights glowed softly. Nirel lay on the table, calm and trusting. Elia held her hand tightly. Caleb placed the nanogel gel carefully along her damaged spine, then injected the stem cells. The process took hours. Caleb's hands were steady, but sweat dripped down his face. This was the most important moment of his life. As the procedure ended, Caleb whispered, "Now we wait." For the next hours, monitors showed slow signs of nerve activity, small electrical pulses, tiny muscle twitches. Caleb's hope grew. Days passed. Nirel rested under constant care. Her body grew stronger slowly but surely. One afternoon, Caleb was beside her when she suddenly moved her arm, fully. She opened, her fingers wiggling them. Elia gasped. "She did it! Caleb, she did it!" Nirel's eyes shone. She tried to smile, but tears ran down her cheeks. Caleb smiled too, but he knew the hardest part was still ahead, helping her walk without support. That evening, Virelan officers came to visit the hospital director. "We watched your progress," the lead officer said coldly. "This treatment, it's unacceptable. It breaks traditions. It risks the future of our people." The hospital director stayed calm. "It offers hope. That should be valued." The officer's eyes burned. "Hope is one thing, control is another. Do not forget that." Back in Nirel's room, Caleb helped her practice walking. She gripped his hands tightly. Step by step, she moved forward. Her legs trembled, but she did not fall. Elia watched with tears in her eyes, but peace was fragile. Late at night, the hospital's alarm rang. Guards rushed outside. A small Virelan squad had crossed into the neutral zone. They demanded Nirel be handed over immediately. Caleb met them at the entrance. "Why now?" he asked calmly. "Orders from command," the officer said. "This child is a symbol of weakness. We reclaim her." Caleb's voice hardened. "She is more than a symbol. She is a life, and we will protect her." The officer sneered. "You humans think you are gods, but you do not understand our ways." Caleb replied, "Then learn, because this child will walk in both our worlds." The standoff lasted hours. Then, unexpectedly, Elia stepped forward. "I will go with you," she said firmly. "But only if Nirel stays here to heal." The officers hesitated, then nodded. Elia returned to Nirel's side and held her hand. The hospital staff breathed again, but tension remained. Caleb looked at Nirel. "You are the hope for all of us." She smiled weakly. Weeks later, Nirel took her first steps without help. The room erupted with cheers. The impossible had happened. Caleb's work was no longer just about medicine. It was about bridging worlds. And as Nirel walked, she carried the dreams of many, humans and aliens. Alike, the hospital garden was quiet under the silver light of the moons. Flowers glowed softly. Small wind chimes made a gentle sound in the breeze. In the middle of the garden, Nirel stood without support. Her back was straight, her arms relaxed. Her legs, once frozen and weak, were now strong. She took one step, then another, then turned toward the small group watching her. Elia stood nearby, tears in her eyes. Dr. Caleb Morgan smiled. He didn't clap. He didn't speak. He simply watched. This moment didn't need words. It had been months since Narelle first came to the hospital, silent and paralyzed. Everything had changed. The field hospital had changed. The galaxy had changed. Inside the hospital, posters now showed a drawing of Narelle walking with Caleb. Above it were the words, "Healing is not just science. It is belief." People from many worlds came to visit now, not just for treatment, but to learn. Scientists, doctors, and peace workers filled the halls. The once small facility had grown. It had become something new, the first Unity Healing Center. One day, a message arrived from the Galactic Medical Council. It was official. Dr. Caleb Morgan is invited to speak at the Peace Assembly on planet Virex Prime. The Council wishes to honor the work done at the Unity Center. Caleb read the message 3 times before saying anything. He was quiet. Elia sat beside him. "You should go. Let them see the truth with their own eyes." Narelle nodded. "Let them hear your voice, like I heard it when I was trapped." Caleb looked at her. "I didn't save you. You saved yourself." Narelle smiled. "But you showed me how." The day of the Peace Assembly came. A large starship, painted white with golden stripes, landed on the hospital's platform. It carried Caleb, Elia, Narelle, and several staff members to Virex Prime. The planet was beautiful but cold. The buildings were tall and sharp. The sky was always cloudy. Inside the Peace Hall, hundreds of leaders sat in silence. Some were old, wearing long robes. Others were military commanders, still carrying scars of war. Most had never spoken to a human before. When Caleb stepped onto the stage, whispers filled the air. He took a deep breath and began. "I am not a warrior," he said. "I am not here to talk about weapons or politics. I am a medic. I fix what's broken. I comfort what hurts. I speak to those who cannot speak." He looked at Narelle, who stood beside him. "This young girl was given to me by a mother who had nothing left but hope. Others said she could not be saved. But she blinked once. Then she moved a finger. Then she walked." He paused. "She is not just healed. She is the bridge between our worlds." He looked at the crowd. "We do not need to understand each other fully to help one another. We just need to care." There was silence. Then, slow clapping from one side of the hall. Then, another, then more. Finally, the entire Peace Hall stood, even the generals, even the ones who once hated humans. They clapped for Caleb. They clapped for Narelle. They clapped for the impossible. After the event, Elia met with Virilan elders. They invited her to speak across other worlds. She agreed, saying, "If a mother can trust her daughter to a stranger, maybe we can learn to trust a little more." Narelle received a medal called Voice of Peace. It was the first time the award was given to a child. Caleb received an invitation to lead a new interstellar medical program. He said he would accept, but only if both humans and aliens trained together. The council agreed. Back at the hospital, things kept growing. New wings were built. Special rooms for therapy, music healing, and animal interaction were added. Other species shared their own ways of healing too. It became more than a hospital. It became a symbol. One alien child, once frozen and forgotten, had started it all. One day, Caleb sat with Narelle under a tall alien tree. Luna, the kitten, now fully grown, lay sleeping beside them. Narelle looked up. "Do you think others will believe what happened here?" Caleb smiled. "They'll believe because they'll see. You're the proof." She nodded. "I want to help. Others? Like you helped me?" Caleb looked at her kindly. Then we build the future together. Years passed. Peace spread slowly, not by armies but by kindness. More Unity centers opened across the galaxy. Caleb became a teacher, training medics from many planets. Narelle became a speaker, sharing her story with millions. Elia wrote a book titled Daughter of Two Worlds. It became a bestseller in 7 languages. One day, many years later, Caleb stood at the edge of a garden again. This time he was older. His hair was gray. His hands a little slower, but his heart still full. He watched a new patient, an alien boy with a wounded spine, take his first steps. Behind him, a young woman with green-blue skin walked forward to help. Narelle, now a trained medic herself, she held the boy's hand and whispered something Caleb had once said to her. "You're not broken. You're becoming." Caleb smiled. His work would continue, even after him. That was the legacy of touch, not one of power, not one of war, but of healing and belief.